Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs, so let's get to it. All right, you guys, first things first, before we get to the gossip, let's talk about some housekeeping. First off, I want to say happy birthday, or actually it's happy belated birthday now, to one of the rock stars, Monique. She actually reached out to me last week and asked me to do a shout out for her, I think, or actually earlier this week, but I had already done my videos, so I told her that I would put it in top of the blogs, and then I was supposed to do it actually yesterday on her actual birthday, and I just didn't get around to doing a video yesterday, child. Work has been so busy, so, you know, I have to alter my schedule when I have a lot to do at work, and in the evenings, child, it just ain't gonna happen, so. Anyway, getting back to the birthday wishes. Monique, I hope you had a great day yesterday. I hope you're continuing to celebrate your birthday this weekend. Live it up, girl. She told me how old she was, but I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on here. So let's just say that Ms. Monique is grown. She pay her bills, okay? And she is loving life. So happy birthday and thank you for all of your support. She says she's been watching. She says she watches everything that I do. So that's a great feeling. Also, you guys, it's just good to remind folks that Top of the Blogs is an entertainment gossip blog or vlog, should I say. It's not really a vlog, but you know, it's a video on entertainment gossip, all right? We will every now and then put in like national headline type news, but I really try to keep it as lighthearted and fun and just concerning like gossip when it comes to celebrities and things like that. You guys want me to be talking about murders, and I mean, I get it, and I will sometimes, but you know, murders and kidnaps, and you know, I don't feel like getting into no full-blown racial conversations and things like that, you know, unless it pertains to the celebrity, then we'll bring it. But otherwise, you guys, I know, and I don't want people to think that I'm ignoring them, but I've said this so many times and you guys still put it in the comments, okay? Not as much as you used to, but we just every now and then got to remind folks. It's okay. Rocky love y'all though. Rocky do love y'all, and I'm flattered that you guys want my opinion on those things, but to protect the mental peace that I am so intent on keeping, you guys, I just have to make sure that certain things that give me like anxiety and kind of bring me down, I just am not going to do. All right? All right. Now, we got that out the way. Let's get to I was about to say reviews. Let's get to the stories. All right, you guys, let's talk about the story that actually hit last night. I guess it's probably good that I didn't do my top of the blogs yesterday, because I would have missed the story and it'll probably be too late to put it in next week. But I was going to talk about Aries Spears, of course, because we have to talk about how he called Lizzo a shit emoji, and I guess didn't realize that if he looked in the mirror, he would see the same thing. I just, before we get to the story that I'm saying that just came out yesterday, let's just talk about Lizzo, I'm sorry, let's talk about Aries Spears, because Lizzo ain't did nothing to nobody, okay? And it's funny that she continues to stay in people's mouths. I mean, that usually means that you're doing something right? Okay? Actually, let's back up. Before we get to Aries and Tiffany Haddish, let's talk about the MTV Awards, the music awards, or the VMAs, I guess they're called. Didn't really watch. I did watch. It was on the channel the whole time, but didn't pay attention after the first half hour. I realized that this was just really not going to be my kind of thing. Y'all know I'm a little bit, I lean towards the BET Awards. I think they're way more entertaining, mostly because I don't listen to a lot of those songs from the MTV Awards, okay? I did enjoy the opening. So we had Jack Harlow was the opening act, and he did First Class, and then he brought out Fergie. I was like, oh, is this his thing? He's gonna bring out somebody each time. Remember, he brought out B-Rocka, Brandy, brand new, whatever you want to call her. In his last performance, I think that was on the BET Awards, and then this time He's brought out Fergie, who still sounds great. You know, we've had some pretty good giggles about Fergie over the years, and but when it comes down to it, you guys, that album with Glamorous Life is still the bomb. Like, that shit still go hard. Like, I could listen to all of them songs. I do actually miss Fergie. I didn't realize it until I saw her performing at the MTV, the VMAs. But yeah, she did great. She looked great. You know, she doesn't quite have that face that she used to have. I don't know what it was. It was sort of like a cocaine face. Like, you know, she just always kind of seemed a little wired, but she looked good. She sounded good, you know, looked pretty chill, looked like she was enjoying herself. I did enjoy them. Also loved Lizzo's performance. I like Lizzo, you know. I don't have her new album. I mean, who has any albums these days? I mean, I have Apple Music, so I have access to her music, but I don't really listen to her music like that. Not like I did her first album, but I still really respect Lizzo. I think that she is doing the damn thing. She looks great. She looked great on stage. I was like, y'all don't realize it, but Lizzo actually is coming down, you know, quietly. I can tell that she's lost weight. I don't know if that's what the goal is, but I mean, she looks good. She sounds good. Leave the girl alone. People always say that if she doesn't want the attention, she shouldn't put herself out there that way. But, you know, she is doing what everybody else that does what she does do. Okay. They put themselves out there. I mean, she's a bigger girl. She doesn't want to wear the clothes and she still wants to showcase herself the same way a smaller girl would, then that's her prerogative. And yes, I do realize that the social media, the internets, they're not nice. And so people are always going to have something to say. But Aries Spears, that whole, I just didn't understand. If you don't really like her music, that's one thing. So say, yeah, she's not really my cup of tea. Okay, that's fine. But to attack her in that way, she ain't did nothing to Aries or really anybody else. Like, I was just really disappointed. And then for the fact for him to say the things that he said as if he was just as fine as, nigga, you was not the cutest thing to look at. You know, people need to really kind of pay attention to themselves before they want to start talking about. I mean, he did actually say something along the fact that he was, you know, a bigger person too. But yeah, you ain't aged well, child. You know, from seeing him from when he was younger up until like, no. So anyway, I don't want to give that too much energy because I loved Lizzo's speech when she was like, you know, bitches is winning. Okay, motherfuckers is mad. And that's really all that I have to say about that, because it's just, you know, people are just so horrible on social media, you know? And why we can't just be loving? You know, I understand a little fun shade and shit, but some people are just really just horrible. So anyway, you guys, the rest of the awards, I mean, it was on. I feel like I might have had something to drink that day. Actually, I had just got back from Savannah. I was tired, okay? I had a book club meeting that day, and then we had just got off the road from Savannah, and Savannah was a whirlwind, you know, from Thursday to Sunday. So I was tired. So nigga fell asleep even before Nicki Minaj's tribute, her award. She won the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award, and much deserved. I talked about it last week already, you know, so I don't really have anything else to say. I think she deserves it. You know, Nicki Minaj is good at what she does, and she has a legion of fans. She has great music out there. Not really feeling this Super Freak song. It's just too gimmicky and like, no. I like the harder core Nicki. But you know what? I can appreciate the fun Nicki too. Okay, and this, I told you guys last week, reminds me of the Nicki of like the gimmicky Nicki. When she had a little bit of the Roman in her and all of that. So, but you know, all that being said, still love Nicki Minaj, and I was happy for her. She looked great, looked fantastic. I thought she was pregnant. I was like, maybe she's not. I mean, her waist looked very small. So, Yeah, I'm not sure. The jury is still out on that. And then I was trying to look it up and see if people were still saying she was pregnant or if she, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, much deserved. Okay, that's it on the MTV Awards. Let's talk about, though, the allegations that were brought up upon Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. So apparently, Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears were working with Funny or Die. Remember, they would do little skits, Funny or Die, and put it on the internet. And different comedians would work with them or whatever. Apparently, Tiffany Haddish and, not apparently, allegedly, according to the mother of these, I guess they're now adults, but at the time they were 14-year-old girl and 7-year-old boy. The mother is alleging that these kids were molested and sexually groomed for these skits by Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. When you read the allegations, it's so off the wall and just way out and hard for even for that asshole Aries Spears. I was just like, the mother is alleging that the kids are saying that they were groomed. The little girl was shown by Tiffany Haddish how to fake like she was giving fellatio to, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be Aries Spears or just some other man, but the skit where she was supposed to be showing the little girl how to do it. And then there was another skit, I guess, when the little boy, who's all of 7 years old, according to the mom, the little boy was supposed to be rubbing oil on Aries Spears, and the allegations are disturbing. Like, when you read it, you're just sort of like, what? You know, I don't know much about Aries Spears, and honestly, I don't know much about Tiffany Haddish, but we do know that Tiffany Haddish has had some, I don't know if it's sexual abuse in her own personal past. But I do know that she's had some domestic abuse, times that she's spoken about. And I just don't want to believe that either one of them really would do something like this to some children, okay? It's so hard to wrap your mind around, especially when we talk about Tiffany Haddish. Now, Aries has fallen off. I mean, he's still around. People still know who he is and all. But Tiffany Haddish, with all of her success that she's had, boy, it would be a fucking blow to hear that this girl was, a predator on these small kids like this. It's just really hard for me to believe. But it is Hollywood. I understand it's entertainment. You know, people are human. People have all kinds of weird fetishes and things, and you can't put anything past anybody at the end of the day. But I am just going to choose to wait and see what happens on this. Tiffany Haddish's people have come out and said that this mother has been trying to get money out of Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears for years. Okay, and that this has been a extortion plot to get money from them. I guess they had been ignoring the mother all this time, but now kind of striking while the iron is hot. Aries Spears is in the hot seat. Nobody's really liking him right now anyway, and I mean, maybe that is the reason why they've decided to come out with this story now. I don't know, but man, I hate to hear it. I hate to hear it. Okay. We got to protect the babies. So if this is something that is happening, then, motherfuckers need to be in trouble because of that. All right. So we're just going to wait and see, because I don't have anything else other than Tiffany Haddish's camp said that it's an extortion plot and it did not happen. Apparently this mother has been trying to bring this up on, Tiffany and Aries for some years now. Lawyers have all declined to take the case because they said it was meritless. And now she apparently is being represented by like her daughter or her sister or something like that. So, and I don't know if the sister slash daughter is a lawyer, if that's just somebody that is, I don't know. All I know is this just is awful. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. You guys let me know what you think about all of that. First of all, I guess this is really two very separate segments that I've put into one. Let me know about your good, your bad, your ugly in the MTV Awards. And then you also can tell me your opinions on this Aries and Tiffany Haddish, Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish case that hit the social media yesterday. Okay, do you guys believe it or not? All right, you guys, actually, I wanted this to be my first story, but I don't have it in order in my notes. So let's talk about what's going on in Jackson, Mississippi. As you all know, or you may not know, but there was really bad weather in Mississippi, the state, period, last week. Okay, even Scotty by Nature, had posted that, you know, in the area that he lived, even though he wasn't directly affected, that it was going on around him. There was flooding. They were getting like torrential rain, which, you know, the summertime in the South, it's the rainy season. So he was posting that, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. It was on the news that the infrastructure there was not prepared or equipped to handle this amount of rain and flooding, and they were concerned about the water system there. The torrential rain had caused a swell in the Pearl River, in particular, up to 35 feet, and it quickly became a mess there. The water treating plant that is there in Jackson was overwhelmed, and it affected the water treating system there. Okay, now they're saying that Mississippi has long time had issues with their water system, that it was always kind of on the verge of collapse because the government, the people in charge, they were in charge of making the decisions for the infrastructure there. And of course, with Jackson being predominantly Black city, I think they said 80% of the residents in Jackson, Mississippi in particular, are Black. They said 1 out of 4 people that live in Jackson live in poverty, that it was a huge white flight, that the white people in that area moved out of that area. And because of that, they have been kind of treated as a second thought, as an afterthought, you know, and that they didn't really care or were concerning themselves about the water system there. They've put Band-Aids on it, but it needed an overhaul, okay? The money that needed to be put into that system, they say really is around $2 billion, because this water system is over 100 years old. And they had already been complaining that it had traces of E. coli and salmonella and all kinds of other bacteria that was growing in the system. And so it needed a complete overhaul. Now, apparently, they did have a $90 million. Now, $90 million to $2 billion is a very large difference, right? But they did have a $90 million contract with Siemens. Okay, and Siemens, the company, was to go in there, fix whatever issues that they could with the water system. Turns out that Siemens came in, put in faulty water meters. People were getting exorbitantly high water bills, thousands of dollars. I was like, that sounds familiar, because some of that has been going on here in Georgia. Don't get me started, but the people were told to just pay whatever they thought that they needed to pay on their water bill, okay? Because obviously they can't pay $1,000, or nor should they be paying. Who is using that much fucking amount of water when you live in a small home and a few people are in there using water in there? I mean, you're not using thousands of dollars. So there's a problem there. So Jackson did not know what else to tell these people other than, you know what, pay what you think you should pay for your water bill. Well, when you tell somebody something like that, are you about to pay this fucking bill when you got other stuff to do? No. Okay. So people stop paying their water bills. All right. And then without getting money for their water bills, of course, the first thing to go is going to be the water system. Jackson ended up losing a lot of money, and they ended up having to sue Siemens because they just kind of made a bad situation worse. And, they're still having a hard time securing infrastructure funding. Apparently, there were 2 bills that came across the legislation that died because they weren't willing to put the money there. And like I said, the mayor said that it takes about $2 billion for this system to truly, really be fixed. Well, Mississippi in its entirety only got $75 million towards their infrastructure. So of course that doesn't sound good for Jackson, because I just told you the stats on what's happening there. 150,000 people are now waterless. That means they cannot take baths, they cannot use the toilet, they cannot put out fires if something happens. It's bad. This is actually the worst case scenario, to have a whole city that cannot use the water. I don't even know what is going to happen there in a long-term fix. Everybody is doing their part to try to help, sending water there, water bottles, and that is all great. However, when you think about people, the things that you need water for, I mean, just to take a bath, how many bottles of water would that take? So realistically, that is not sustainable to keep sending water. Of course, you need to send water because they need to be able to drink water, okay? But you also, out of everything that out of everything that happens, you have to have water. You don't even always have to have power, but you have to have water. It's unsanitary to not have water. So Jackson has a problem. I do know that Deion Sanders and many other people are trying to do what they can. Deion Sanders being the coach there at Jackson State, he's making sure that his the people that he is responsible for have access to the water and all. So the school per se could, they're trying to make sure that they take care of these students, but we still got a whole bunch of other people that aren't getting the water. And like I said, how sustainable is that? How long can that happen? Because some people say it's just a couple of weeks before we get this system fixed. And then others, like part of their government, are saying we realistically don't know how long it's going to take for this to get fixed. That is bad. And really, if it continues on there in Mississippi, I can see that kind of problem branching out to Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, because we are also very close. And they're going to have to get some water from somewhere. Something is going to happen. I'm not an engineer and I don't know much about the systems, but I do know that we got to get these people some water somewhere. So I feel like it will put a strain on other places, because we can't just let folks not have water, So, bad situation that's going on there. Shout out to all of my rock stars that live in Mississippi. And if you know people out there that are, this is bad. Like, this is worst case scenario. Okay. It reminds you of Cleveland that just kind of died away. I think they still have issues out there with the water system. Was it Cleveland? Not Cleveland. Flint, you guys. But it reminds me of that same situation, and how just all of a sudden everything collapsed and everybody act like they were so shocked. I was just like, what? But you know what? It's just awful that these people, you have a city of people and you just really don't care about what happens there. This is Mississippi. I hate to say things about, but we in the South, it is what it is. Black folks is still not treated the best, in the South. That's just what it is. And now we see, with this. So, our prayers are up for everybody out there. Hopefully that, they'll get that fixed. And like I said, all my rock stars are family, friends, and all that are out there. I hope you guys can get some relief, because this is fucking ridiculous, okay? And we don't need it to get any worse, than what it is. So hopefully they get that shit together. Jackson, y'all hold your heads up. All right, you guys, next story. So did you guys see the Kentucky dad getting on the school bus, and cursing out the kids for his daughter who had been jumped on the bus, I guess the day before, or had been being bullied, apparently, according to the dad. Kentucky daddy was over it. Got on the bus, cussed out the kids. And I mean, these are like elementary age children from Carter Elementary School, actually, is the name of the school in Kentucky. And pretty much went off on them, threatened them, told them that, he by no uncertain terms, he will flip this fucking bus over. I mean, it was bad. All right. Terrorized the children that were on there. Granted, the child or the children who were responsible for fighting his daughter were definitely on the bus too, but the majority of the kids were not the ones that were bullying the daughter, but the father was at his wit's end and had got on there and just went off on the folks. Okay, when the bus driver made the father get off the bus, they followed the bus in the car to the next stop. And apparently allegedly, the kids were saying that they were waving a gun at the windows. Now, I mean, I'm not laughing at this because I kind of feel two ways about it. And you guys probably already know what I'm about to say because I'm a parent, right? And then, of course, I'm also a logical adult. All right, so the parent side of me is you definitely feel sympathy for this father because, children, my children weren't bullied in school. I was bullied in school, in middle school, okay? And my parents didn't take it seriously. It was just it wasn't really, really bad, but it was enough for me. I still remember the days getting on the school bus and just dreading it, okay? Because I knew that, these were boys that were actually just talking bad about me and just making my life miserable. So the parent side of me realizes that you can get so frustrated with the shit that goes on with the kids, the school's not doing anything about it, your child constantly having to go through this over and over and over. It's hard though, because sometimes bullying is also kind of a rite of passage, right? If it doesn't continue and just gets so toxic and it just happens, this is what kids do. A lot of times they'll bully you, and it might be because they like you. Like in particular, one of the boys I know for a fact, I've talked to them when Facebook first started and you were getting back in touch with your friends from school, and they were like, he actually apologized and was like, I had a crush on you back then. Okay, well, you used to call me a horse back then. Motherfucker, that's the way you show your crush, okay? But so because I had big teeth, big gums, all of that. I didn't know how to control my lip situation and all. So part of it, but parents know when it's just gotten to be way too much, okay? And the times are so different now because you have social media and, children can get bullied by such a broader span than the way it was when we were in school. You just had to deal with what you dealt with on the bus. You went home, you didn't have to deal with it no more till you got back to school the next day. Now, the kids with social media, they deal with it on social media. When they get home, everybody is posting videos of what didn't happen, fights and shit, talking shit on Instagram, on TikTok, on different veins, different places. So the kids can't get away from it. So the stress is much higher. I mean, I got all of that, so as a parent, I can see where you would get frustrated enough. It definitely is not a wise choice. Actually, it's a bad choice, but I can see how you would get so fed up that you would do something like this. Now, the logical adult in me says, well, you really shouldn't be doing this because you're getting on this bus and these are kids, okay? You are scaring kids, all right? Your kid is fighting another kid, all right? They're not fighting a big ass grown adult man with a gun, all right? So you getting on a bus and threatening the kids and saying you're gonna flip it. These kids don't know if you just talking and you just frustrated. They don't know all of that shit that I just said. All they know is right now they looking at this big ass man who's threatening to do something, waving guns at windows and no. You know? So it's a dropped ball all the way around because you know, he's frustrated, didn't handle it the best way. The school didn't handle it the best way, you know, and of course we've got these kids on there that haven't been dealt with, that have been beating up his kid or whatever. And then on the bus, the kids were actually telling him that his daughter was the one who started it. So then you start to wonder like, well, who was the one? You know, so it's a big mess. Bullying is a big mess because you really got to get to the bottom of it. You've got to cut the head off the snake. Okay. And a lot of times it's usually just one ringleader, and then you got all the rest of the kids that's like bandwagoning. They're getting on, but there's usually just one or two that's the one that's about it. Okay. And so it's a failure all the way around. Now, he did get onto the news out there in Kentucky, wherever it was, and apologize to everybody. Okay. Because after he done cooled down, he realized, and you know, I think that he meant what he said. He realized that wasn't the best way to handle it, but he didn't know how else to handle it. What has to happen for this bullying situation to stop at these schools? You know, it's just really hard. It's the sign of the times. It's like I said, social media makes things so hard. And, you know, so, but when you saw that video, he was so mad. And, you know, we've all joked around and be like, I'll fight a kid, you know, over my kid. We really ain't getting out there fighting these kids and shit. And I don't think that he was going to do it. He definitely did it to scare the kids. But yeah, it's just a situation that needs to be handled all the way around. But what's y'all suggestions, especially my teachers out there? I should probably talk to Joe about something like this. But you guys are the teachers and people that work in the educational system. You guys tell me, what is the best approach to something where your child is getting, you know, either they're the bully, because sometimes somebody got to be the bully and somebody's child is the one that's out there bullying, or the one that is being bullied. Like, how is this handled? Because we can't have daddies getting up on buses with guns and threatening the babies no more. Okay. Y'all give me your opinions on that. What educators, rock star educators out there, the real ones, okay? Or actually, you don't even have to be an educator, but if you know how to fix the problem, maybe y'all can put us up on game. I know one thing, them kids ain't gonna be fucking with that little girl no more, now are they?